So a lot of times the convex bevel doesn't like to show up on camera, but what I have here is a curved scissor. The top one is got a convex bevel. It goes all the way down to the edge. It's very sharp. It'll shave hair off your arm. On the back side, the shiny line, that's called the ride line. It goes all the way along the full length of the blade. The edge itself, though, there's no, it's hard to see it because it just goes right down to the edge. And where I'm talking about is right here, right there, and it's sharp. You can feel it. The angle is probably set at about 40 to 45 degrees. There is a slight micro bevel that's convexed onto it as well, but it's all blended and curves right in. This is a similar half of a scissor, and that is what the grinder does, and hopefully that'll show up. That's a very coarse tooth grind, and besides being coarse, the angle is much steeper as well, so it's not going to cut the hair, it's going to pinch the hair in half. On the back side, if we compare the back side, this is where the grind begins, and you can see there's no removal of the material because the inside is hollow hollow ground. The more you grind off the edge, the deeper it goes and the harder it is to put a hollow grind in it. This one hasn't been sharpened very many times. I'm guessing maybe once or twice, but you can see where the grind has come into the shoulder, and it's already starting to remove metal back here where the original hollow grind went up, and then they have to scrape in something pretending to be a hollow grind, and the scrape, you can actually see the scrape marks going along the blade this way and up here on the tip as well, where they just scrape a small stone down it. Typically with the twice as sharp, they'll use a pink stone like this, and then they just scrape along the blade to remove the burr from this coarse grind that happens. I'm going to try and go ahead and repair this. This is just the stuff I'm seeing here. It's all been done with a twice as sharp grinder. This is convex. It shouldn't have a steep bevel ground onto it, so we can do better than that. I'm going to take care of it now. Okay, here's about halfway through the process of reconvexing the steep bevel. Of course, it won't focus. There we go. So you'll see scratches on it, but what we're doing is we're step beveling and rounding out that harsh edge. And you can see up here where there's still a little bit of Sharpie marker. That's the part we're rounding that off now. The overall appearance, if it'll focus, is one complete smooth bevel as it transitions around to the cutting edge. And we got the angle reset closer to 40 degrees, and I'm just going to go ahead and keep rounding and polishing this until we get the entire surface back to our mirror polish. It takes about a half hour. It takes 2 minutes with the grinder to put the edge on, and it takes about 30 minutes to remove it and re-round it and get it back to the shape it should be in. Here's just a quick side-by-side. The top is the coarse bevel grind, and the bottom is the one that's been reconvexed. A lot of this stuff doesn't like to show up on the camera because of the reflections. You can actually see the loose burr, the jagged burr up on the top. That's that white line along the bottom of the edge. That's what gives it that crunchy, chunky feel when you try and cut. And actually that's what's being used to provide the cutting action, is just the roughness of that burr on this grind edge. I keep saying grind because I really hate it. Anyways, the bottom is the repolished, reshaped, and now I need to go ahead and put this ride line back in. Sorry for the shaky cam. Alright, more work. Back to it. So it's curved, so I have to go back and forth and then increase the angle in steps. That's the first part. This is a custom machine that I built myself. It's a variable speed, it's reversible. There's no heat buildup, there's no damage. I'm working on the slack part of the belt so I can get that nice curve to go in on it. You can see it's not even doing anything to my thumb. All we're doing really is this is polishing and removing those very light scratches. Okay, so after 4 or 5 steps of sanding, we have a, the shape has been reprofiled. We got our curve back in there, if the damn thing will focus. So once we got the curve in, now we need to buff and polish it back to a mirror. And all of this just to remove a big old nasty bevel that should have never been put there in the first place. Okay. And you can stop at any point. I mean, you could have stopped, I could have stopped at a satin buff. Every scissor I've been sharpening so far, I've been polishing at least on this. Just because it only takes a minute to do that. So part of the fun of doing this, and the reason why I did it, was to show how restoration can be accomplished. I'm doing it also for the challenge of it and the experience of it. I can also see how it's going to get real old real fast if I have a couple hundred of these to do every time I turn around, and that's unfortunate. There we go. So what could be a even with a full disassemble, which I don't believe is happening on a regular basis, full disassemble, clean the pivot, check the hardware, polish, and then sharpened. It's about a 15-minute job. This job that I'm doing here, of course I'm taking my time with it, I'm recording while I'm doing it, but it'll take over a half hour, easily. So there's our inside one, and it's been polished. You see scratches. I got an LED light so the scratches show up. In sunlight it'll look real nice. And then all we need left to do is replace this ride line, put them back together and test them. Okay, the ride line's been reestablished. Hopefully you can see it. It shouldn't be giant or thick, but you need to have it there. And once we've reestablished the ride line, this thing is actually sharp now, but we're going to go ahead and sharpen it a bit further. Okay. This is a Shapton glass water stone. Get this stuff out of the way. So because it's curved, you have to pull and sweep at the same time. This is the way ride lines should be sharpened on every pair of scissors for salon or grooming. And that's got that toothy, sticky, bitey edge that's going to shave hair right off your arm. And that's what you want to have. That's all it takes, literally, is that amount of effort at the proper angle. And now this thing needs put back together, and we're almost done. Okay, let's put these back together. But first, let's give them a little cleaning. They probably have never been cleaned. Nice. There we go. I mean, that couldn't hurt, right? Clean them once in a while. Okay. And we'll take a drop of Tough Glide. Drop that around. And just give that a little tiny pin of oil. Right. There we go. Check and make sure we got all our washers and everything. These have got a built-in bearing in them, which is kind of cool. Okay. Oop. Oop. There we go. And where's the tool I made last night? There we go. Made a special tool just for this type of nut. Much easier than using that universal key thing. Check our tension. Bring it in. Check our tension. Looking good. There we go. Give it one test swipe. I'll pull this down so you can see it. Oh no, the belts. Oh no. I'm practicing working in small conditions because I should have my new mobile van Monday or Tuesday. So first cut, we'll go ahead and just give it right through. Okay, so I got them back together. And I know they're sharp. And by sharp, I mean very sharp. And when I went to go ahead and they cut the paper towel fine, which it's more of a cloth type of paper towel, and you can see it goes right through, and it's cutting all the way to the tip. And as somebody pointed out, this is fake fur, so you get fake results if you're cutting fake fur. But it'll cut hair really nice, and it was folding right at the tips. And these are really long and they're curved. So if they're dropped or you have any sort of set issue at all, which the set is how the two blades curve and come together as they contact over each other. They only touch at the one spot as they move along. Then you check it and then you test it. So there's a nice thick clump, and it cuts all the way to the edge. And so now we have a functional set. It was folding really bad. I tried to retouch and resharpen them a couple times. But it's another reason why I'm putting this video together, is to show people the type of quality and service that they can expect from me in my area. And I'll always do my best to make sure not to ruin anything, to take it and make it back to the way it should be, and to give the highest function and satisfaction and happiness to everybody, because we all deserve to be happy. Thanks.